This year, Vogue magazine, one of the trendiest magazines there is out there, has called it the year of the crack.
I call it ass floss. I mean, that. Okay, you got another episode of Two Guys. I'm Just Saying. I am Al Bandiro, and my buddy on the other side is Diamond Boy Lewis. How you doing, my friend?
Doing phenomenal, man. Doing phenomenal, and laughing at life. We've seen trends throughout the years, right? We've seen the bell bottoms. We've seen the fuzzy socks, the Benetton jacket. We've seen a couple of things. The Uggs, that's right. Different hair colors and stuff like that. So but this year, Vogue magazine, one of the trendiest magazines there is out there, has called it the year of the crack. And I was like, wow, the year of the crack. That is very interesting. Is there an epidemic
of the crack?
That's right. So I thought there was an epidemic about something, and there's an epidemic of butt cracks. That is the new trend in fashion. And I sent Al a picture of one of the rockers' daughter. And what it is for, if you're trying to imagine it, it's the lady's dress. And then in the back area where the crack starts, there's a mesh so you can see the plumber's crack, because that's what we all know it as.
In the travels of women, I not all women, make sure that you guys understand this, not all women, but there are a lot of women that think men like a certain thing.
Correct.
Without talking to the men. And when you see the picture that we're talking about, and we'll see if we can put that up. Listen, where would you want to wear? Do whatever you want to do. But if the goal is to have a man admire you in some way, ladies, if you talk to men, they're going to tell you that's not the message.
No.
That men are taking the way that you think this is sexy or this is cute. It's not. And it's, when it comes to that, I think that I hear it all the time from men. It's like, you know what, this is not sexy or this is not sexy. And yet the communication, I think, about what women think that they can wear to attract men is twofold. Number one, what kind of man are you attracting, and what kind of man do you want to attract?
I don't think any. I don't, and I hate using the word real men, because I think everybody's a man, right? But I don't think men in itself find as attractive. Cleavage, good. Butt crack,
yeah,
not at all.
Nah.
So.
Yeah.
It's just
unless you're in your state, Florida. If you're in your state and you're on a boat, I call it ass floss. I mean, that's what they wear. The bottom of the bathing suit is complete ass floss. And that's most of the women. When I do go down there and I'm on my friend's boat and we go out a lot, that is what I see. So, and it doesn't really matter, I think, what shape your butt is in. The majority of them wear, whether it's good or it's bad or whatever it may be. But I named it ass floss because that's about as thin as you can get, that the whole butt is hanging out. Now, what I notice about this, and maybe some women don't, is there's a younger demo of guys who see that all the time. Not once in a while, all the time, especially in states like Florida or California, anywhere it's warm. And I'm noticing that these 3 or 4 or 5 women wearing that on a boat, they're standing 2 inches away from the guys, and the guys are looking at their phone or talking to each other. They're not even paying attention to them.
Correct.
So I'm thinking, okay, if I have 3 or 4 or 5 women wearing that and I'm single, back in the day, am I going to be talking to another guy? And the answer is probably no.
No.
But today, because they see it everywhere, So there's a message that I don't know if women are picking up on, that you should wear whatever you want to wear for you. But if you're wearing it to attract men, it's clearly not working.
I think a lot of women, and I've heard this before, and I've had this conversation with other women. A lot of women dress for other women, but at the end of the day, if you're looking to also attract the opposite, for us, we're so desensitized right now because nothing is left to the imagination that it's not attracting at all. I'm a butt guy. I love butts, and then second, I'm a breast guy, right? So if
That's
I
why
see,
you found that picture.
correct, which I'm insulted because that's not actually. If you're gonna wear something like that, you better have something to really flaunt it. No, but all kidding aside, I love seeing a good looking woman, with a beautiful dress, and you go, wow, that is an amazing looking woman. But women that put it all out there, and no disrespect to any of them if that's what you do, to me it's like, all right, cool, and I keep it moving. It just I've never been that type of person to have been attracted like that, and it's odd because a lot, I mean, throughout the years I've had some odd jobs and stuff, and like I DJ'd at a strip club younger in my career, and to me that has never like really caught my eye. So I rather have something for the imagination than have nothing less to the imagination.
Yeah, I agree. I think that again, we're women watching this or listening to this, you can, whatever you want. It's up to you. My taste usually would run of more a little bit on the elegant, that I've always believed that less is more. That if you're going out, a beautiful dress with showing a little bit of something makes you want to look more, makes you want to have more, makes you want to see more. But for the women who they bear it all, this is me. Okay, that's what you do. That's fine. So don't go crazy with us. But we're telling you from the other side of the fence that once you put everything out there, there's nothing to look for anymore. There's nothing to see to make you a little bit more inquisitive, like, and I don't necessarily know if some women care about that, or that this is just the trend of to show as much as I can, whenever I can. And it's just what this podcast today is about, is what most men really do view that as.
I think if you're going for the shock value, it's there. Outside of that, nothing. There's no extra message. And for the ladies, the same thing. Imagine Al and I walking down the street and we're having our butt crack hanging out with our shirts lifted up. I mean, is that is that attractive? I don't get it.
I'm sure there are, people will say, well, you're a different demo. And yeah, but I've also seen women that I see every day at the gym, in their 20s, in their 30s. And so on, all the way up maybe into their 60s. But even in their 20s and 30s, there's two types of women that I see in a gym all the time. There are the women who wear what they wear in a gym appropriately, very tight, so on and so forth. However, then there's the other group of women who wear as little as possible in a gym. And I can tell you that in between sets, you're talking to another guy that comes over and asks you what you're working on. And generally in a gym, you see the same people at the same time because they're on the same schedule as you. So you say hello to each other every day and you're talking about whatever you're working on that day, or business, or whatever it is. And I've got to tell you that the majority of the younger women who wear next to nothing, men are not looking at in the gym. I mean, the woman walks right in front of you going from one piece of equipment to the other. How could you not look at them? They're walking right in front of you.
Exactly.
But when you turn away and you look, the guys that are next to you, they're not looking at them. So it's an interesting thing that you want, obviously, people to notice you if you're dressed like that.
Well, and ladies, and this is not a bashing session like we said before. It's just to let you know what men think. Us men, I've never had any of my friends, any colleague, anybody that I've met, any other man have a lady pass by and go to me, "Hey, did you see those beautiful long eyelashes?" And you got these long things. That I understand it for TV people, obviously, because the ladies like to accentuate their eyes, but on the daily basis, it doesn't really do anything for the men, to be honest with you. I can tell you in 30 years, Al and I have never discussed any eyelashes from anybody. So it just hasn't happened.
This is just a topic of what we think that some women think men think about or notice, and what we really notice, and what is not a turn on to us. And again, I go back to less is more. Do you need to be up to here? And no, we're not saying that at all. But there is something, in my opinion, that is completely different of elegant and sexy versus here it is. You got everything. Here you go. You can see everything. My personal opinion, there's a difference in that. And I think that my take on it is, if you would ask 10 men in a room something that is elegant and sexy versus everything is hanging out, which one would you go with? Are you going to get 10 men on the other side to say yes? No. But the vast majority of men in any demo will pick the one that is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more elegant.
Correct.
In style. That's not to say don't be sexy all day long. We're not saying that. But it's something that's what notices. And I think we're also in a society today that we don't get shocked with anything anymore. My question is, you can wear whatever you want, but are you really wearing it because you look good in it, or are you wearing it because you want the attention?
I think it's more,
and the attention that you're
shock
getting.
Value, yeah.
Yeah, it's so, okay, we're in shock, but do people remember you for the right reason versus the wrong reason? And once again, you can wear whatever you want, but if you are wearing it to be noticed only in shock versus notice that, wow, that's very nice. There's two different reasons there.
And I could hear a couple of men going, that's not true. That looks hot, this and that. And the question that I always ask is like, if that looks hot, would you like to see your wife walking out like that? Or your significant other walking
or your
out
girlfriend.
like that? Exactly. Because if the answer is no, then that's not hot.
Well, right. But remember, and we live in a world today that there are some men that would say, yeah, I'd love my wife to wear that, or I'd love my girlfriend to wear that. That's a different, in my opinion, that's a totally different plateau. I'm not on that plateau, but I'm also by far not telling you to be a nun. I'm not going that way at all. I'm first in line to see a sexy woman that is just, she knows when enough is enough. My wife dresses like that all the time we go.
Will we see this at the Christmas party this year?
It depends on what Christmas party you're going to.
Correct.
I would love to know what a woman thinks about, and are they doing it just for themselves, or are they doing it for men? I don't know.
Well, that's actually a great question. I think women dress,
and maybe
more for themselves.
Right, and let us know.
Yes, we would love to hear from where you're watching and listening from, and please comment on this, because the more we know, the better it is as well. So, but this is just giving you our point of view and how we see things. And remember, every Tuesday at 9 a.m., you can find us on Facebook, and Spotify and YouTube. And please like, follow, and share so other people could join the conversation. Two guys, I'm just saying. What do you think? Is this a trend that you're gonna start practicing, or are you out of the crack?
No, yeah, and I think that I'm going to pass on the year of the crack. But in to give equal time, what men need to also do, and this is, you could take this, guys, any way you want, but the younger guys really need to practice this. And I see this all the time, that my wife and I'll go out to dinner, and we'll go to a place that's really popular with good food. And we saw this the last time we were in Florida, and then we saw this when we got back home, that the women we've noticed over and over again, they get dressed to go out. They're going out to dinner. And I am not all the guys, but too many of them. I'm in shocked by how poorly the guy is dressed.
Yes.
They're schlubby looking. I find that, there was in particular, when we were in Florida, um, we were sitting opposite and I was looking around. It was a brand new restaurant. I wanted to look around and see how they built it and, what the designs were. And as I'm looking around, I see this couple at a table and she had on a very nice dress, facing us. So his back was towards us and he had on, she was dressed to the nines. And he had on a pullover sweatshirt that looked like he slept in with, shoes that obviously were not at all taken care of
Correct.
and rather old. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, if I was going to take a woman out, if I was single and I was going to take a woman out, that's the first thing I would make sure that I looked good when I went to meet her. And this I see more and more and more and more.
They just don't put that effort into themselves like they used to back in the day. I remember my grandfather and my dad, man, they were dressed to the nine as soon as and that's what they instilled in us as well.
Yeah.
So
very, very much so. And the other thing about it too is that when we were doing it, it's the first thing that you wanted to do was sight is the first thing that happens. You're not even talking to that person yet. So you are judging a book by its cover. If someone is dressed well, that's going to get you noticed, or you're going to notice them. But this happens a lot or we're walking somewhere and we pass a couple that, again, the women are well dressed. And then you look at the guy and you think you didn't take too much effort when you opened your wardrobe to pick out what you picked out. And it's this, and I talked to a guy that I knew about this. We were meeting and he said to me, I said, it's like there's zero effort on the guy's part. And he said to me, that's the style. So we're at the table and I said to him, what do you mean that's the style? I said, it just looks like they opened the wardrobe, the closet, and whatever was there, they put on. Did it need to be ironed? It doesn't matter. Whatever. Did the shoes need to be shined? No, it didn't matter. And he said they actually work at looking like that because they think it looks cool. So I answered him and I said, well, maybe thank God that I'm not a woman in a certain demo because I would be alone a lot.
Yeah.
Before I would go out to dinner with someone that looked like that. I have one of my cousins too, that, and if you knew this cousin, you would laugh. So she goes on a date, she's telling me, and guy comes and picks her up, and the vehicle that he was in wasn't exactly clean. She's telling me this. So I'm thinking, okay, so he obviously didn't go get the vehicle cleaned. That didn't go well when she went downstairs to meet him. And she said, when I opened the door, he didn't even get out to open the door for me. When I opened the door, she said, he looked like he slept in his shirt. So if you knew my cousin's personality, that was it. The gloves were off at the very beginning. And she said, you picked me up in a car that looked like this and you look like that, on a date with me and you think that was okay. And I said, wow, good for you. And she said, wait, then I noticed when he put the car in gear, I looked down at his feet and he had flip-flops on a date to go out. Yeah. So, knowing my cousin is, that's the funny part because I would have given anything to be a fly in that wall somewhere when she laid into him. And she said, do you think this is appropriate? And there you go. So there was the whole thing of, you're a grown man and I need to tell you how to dress to go pick me up on a date or take me out to dinner to be appropriate. So the guys, you have to step up your game, we understand that people make X amount of money, can't go out and blow all of it, but you have to have at least grooming and what your shirt looks like and what your pants looks like when you go out. And I'm just blown away that there are guys that'll just, okay, yeah, I'm wearing this to go, as if they're meeting a guy for a beer.
Exactly.
It's a little odd.
Minimum, keep your car clean. Minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Well, I could tell you I'm going to skip this whole fad as well. I don't think the year of the crack is for me either.
So I take it you're not going to buy your wife a dress like that to wear.
No, I don't think we'll be partaking in the crack situation. So we're anti-crack this year.
We wonder how the opposite sex thinks sometimes, and thinks that, oh, this is what the guys like, or this is what women like. And then when you sit down and you talk to the opposite, you see just how far off the mark you are. So we will see you next Tuesday again at 9 a.m. And my friend, let everybody know our platforms before we say goodbye.
Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Facebook. 2 guys, I'm just saying.